the undersigned hereby request that you issue notice for the extraordinary meeting of the Central Working Committee. Recall that the last meeting of the Central Working Committee held on July 22nd, 2024, by Article 11.1, a meeting of the committee is to be held at least once in 2 months. It is over the period of 3 months since the committee meeting was held, which is in total breach of Constitution of NASSLAF. This has left members in the dark about the happenings of NASSLAF and has made us incapable of effectively representing the interests of the members of the NASSLAF. It is for this reason and in line with the Constitution of NASSLAF that we hereby request the issuance of notice of meeting of the Central Working Committee. These are the undersigned of the what is the okay. Speaker. Which one is just the name? Audu Alfred Nasarawa, Miko Soka Daniel Bentley, Victor Kayode Shai Kwara, Mohamed Nasser Adejo Kogi, Ajayi Adebayo Kogi, Livingstone Aminu Yusuf FCT, Lawal Aliyu Yaki Niger. That is not central. That's not central. Afan Sani Katina, Ishak Babasale Kaduna, Mukhtar Tahiru Gora Kano, Sagir Sanusi Zamfara, Wali Tahiru Kano, Said Hassan Mohammed Jigawa, Aminu Talhatu Sokoto, Northwest. Northeast, Mercy Irinia Adamawa, Abdurrahman Mustafa Bauchi, Raji Suleiman Adamawa, Hannat Mohammed Gombe, and Aisha Musa Bauchi. Others are Kazim Olariwaju, Lagos, Tayo Avoshe, Lagos, Kilani Afis, Oyo, Olusada Olamilekan, Oyo, Sani Adeola Shakiru, Ogun, Adeyemi Olushola, Oshun, Tope Amira, Ondo, Aladeji Daramola, Ekiti, Southwest, Toyo Basi Akanimo Jim Akwa Ibom, Irekpen Bride Omogbai Edo, Mandi Simba Delta, Simon Ebang Abang Cross River, and last but not the least, Emerule Favor from Delta. These are the undersigned CWC members that call for the meeting. Next, I would like somebody to move a motion for someone that will preside since the chairman is absent.
Please, okay, let's move on. When we are not somebody to pose a motion.
Somebody to move the motion, please.
My name is Emeka Nwala, CWC Executive in the State. I hereby move the motion that the Vice should preside for this meeting. I so move.
Any seconder? Any seconder?
Seconded. I, Victor Calvi Shade, second the motion.
Okay. A very good afternoon, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. You are all welcome to this extraordinary meeting of Central Working Committee of NASSLAF. It has come to our notice that the meeting has been summoned, signed by some of our colleagues, which I happen to be one of those agitated for that. As you can see, or as we may recall, I think the last meeting we held was over 3 months, which is a clear breach of our constitution, which states that at least a CWC meeting should be held at least once in 2 months to discuss the issues bothering NASSLAF and legislative aids in general. So, having said that, we have a motion before us, heavily submitted by our distinguished colleague. Gentlemen, I would want to call on the mover of that motion to do so for us to go on with the business of the day. Oh, this is the agenda. Okay. Sorry. Forgive me. First thing first, I think the secretary needs to call out the agenda for us to adopt. Then before then, we'll now move forward. Yes. The secretary may wish to please call the agenda for us to adopt the agenda.
The agenda of the meeting is 2 points. One, I received a letter from the executive passing a vote of no confidence on the chairman, Mr. Emeka Nwala. I have the letter here, signed by 8 out of 11 members. And the second is a petition I received from CWC against Emeka Nwala with a lot of accusations on breach of NASSLAF Constitution. I have it here too. So that is the agenda of this meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Able Secretary. Distinguished colleagues, with your kind permission, I think we can now call for the adoption of the meeting. Any mover?
Mr. Chairman, my distinguished CWC members here seated at this crucial and critical extraordinary meeting of the CWC. I, Taiwo Abose, hereby move a motion that this agenda should be adopted. I so move. Thank you.
Any seconder?
I
Thank you. Okay, distinguished colleagues, I think we have no option rather than to go to the main motion. At this juncture, I would like to call on one of us to move this motion. Any mover? The motion? Okay. So sorry. Based on the petition received and having, unanimously adopt the motion, I would like us to invite the mover of this motion to come and move the motion, please.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Victor Shaye, CWC Kwara.
Sorry, please. Push the mic. Thank you.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Victor Shaye, CWC Kwara. Having deliberated with other Central Working Committee members of the National Assembly Legislative Aids Forum today, 28th day of October 2024, and having gone through the various allegations of gross breach of NASSLAF Constitution, I, Victor Shaye, hereby move a motion to suspend the chairman of NASSLAF, Emeka Nwala, from the office to enable proper investigation into these matters. Thank you very much. Some of the prayers include that Mr. Emeka is hereby suspended immediately from the office of the chairman of the National Assembly Legislative Aids Forum. Secondly, the Vice Chairman, Honorable Ishak Baba Saleh, is hereby appointed as acting chairman to avoid a vacuum in the leadership of the forum. The acting chairman shall, along with the executive committee of the rest of the executive committee of the forum, ensure the effective representation of the interests of members of the forum in all matters, and to this in particular. Call for Congress to enable members of the forum meet and discuss issues affecting NASSLAF. Immediately commence the amendment of the constitution of the forum to make the body more robust, more representative, and broad-based. Thirdly, to ensure the timely meeting of the Central Working Committee. The forum secretariat must be opened immediately and keys handed to the secretary of the forum. On the basis of all of this, we still believe and we still agree that the chairman is thereby immediately suspended from office. Thank you very much.
Okay, any seconder?
Good day, distinguished colleagues. Good day, distinguished colleagues. I remain Unilateral, representing the State. I supported this motion wholeheartedly that the chairman of NASSLAF should step aside for now. So
Okay, distinguished colleagues, I think before proceeding with before I should put on the question, there is a need for us to highlight a bit, some of this, ground in the petition. One, since assumption of office as the chairman of NASSLAF, Barrister Emeka has failed to abide by the constitution of the forum and represent the collective has operated unilaterally without the regard and consultation with the bodies established by the Constitution to run the forum, that is, the Executive Committee, ESCO, and the Central Working Committee. The following are grounds informing the suspension. 1. Running of forum unilaterally on a day-to-day basis without the input and consultation with the Executive Committee of the forum. The details of constitutional breach of this is Article 13 of Article 13(1) of the Constitution vests the executive powers of the forum in the Executive Committee and places the day-to-day running of the forum on the ESCO. Mr. Nwala has disregarded this provision of the Constitution and has been running the forum on a day-to-day basis without the ESCO. 2. Individual representation of the forum in all matters without the ESCOs. Article 13(2) of the Constitution empowers the ESCO to represent the forum in all matters before the Senate, House of Representatives, National Assembly Service Commission, management, and other relevant agencies or organizations. In this case, Mr. Nwala has disregarded this constitutional provision and has been represented the forum on its own and without the consent and involvement of executive members. Unlawful setting up standing and ad hoc committees. Article 13(3) and Article 18(b) empowers the ESCO to set up ad hoc committees and standing committees respectively. Mr. Nwala unilaterally formed and set up committees without recourse to the ESCO. 4. Setting up committees without regard to geopolitical spirit. Article 18(b) states that the composition of standing committees shall reflect the 6 geopolitical zones and the 2 houses of parliament. The committee set up by Mr. Nwala is one-sided and does not represent geographical spread. 5. Locking off NASSLAF secretariats and denial of ESCO and NASSLAF members access to the secretariat. Mr. Nwala locked the NASSLAF secretariats and denied the ESCOs and NASSLAF members access and the use of the secretariat despite the resolution of the ESCO that the secretariat be open to ESCO and NASSLAF members. Article 21(I) makes insubordination to the Executive Committee a ground for this disciplinary action. 6. Holding of meetings of Executive Committee in his own personal office and not at NASSLAF secretariat. Mr. Nwala treats the Executive Committee with no respect. He called meetings of the Executive Committee in his office and not at forum secretariat, contrary to the resolution of the ESCO Committee that the meeting be held at secretariat. 7. Failure to call for the meeting of Central Working Committee, a critical body of the forum. Article 11(1) mandates that the meeting of the Central Working Committee shall hold at least once every 2 months. The last time CWC meeting held was on Monday, 22nd July 2024, a period of over 3 months. 8. Failure to call Congress. Article 6(a) stipulates that Congress should meet at least once in a quarter of the year. Mr. Nwala has disregarded the Constitution and has failed to summon the meeting of Congress. 9. Running of the forum without a budget. Article 9(v) empowers the Central Working Committee to approve budget for the forum. Mr. Nwala has been running the forum without any budget approved. Failure to follow up and constructively engage for the payment of 28 days to management aids. Mr. Nwala has failed to follow up and constructively engage for the payment of management aids of their 28 days allowances. Distinguished colleagues, I think this is what is written in the petition, and already it has been moved by one of us and subsequently seconded by one of the members of the Central Working Committees. Distinguished colleagues, I would like to once again call out the prayers for our unanimous, agreement to this. Number one, is it a decision of the Central Working Committee of NASSLAF to suspend immediately the chairman of NASSLAF in person of Barrister Emeka Nwala? Just again say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Again say nay.
Those in support.
Those in support.
Those in support, please.
Should I put the question again?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Those in support that the chairman of NASSLAF, Barrister Emeka Nwala, should be suspended from his office, say aye.
Aye.
Again say nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it. Two, is it the decision of the Central Working Committee of NASSLAF that the Vice Chairman, in person of Honorable Ishaq Basali, to be appointed as the acting Chairman of NASSLAF to avoid vacuum in the leadership of the forum? Those in support of this prayer should say aye.
Aye.
Again say nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it. Three, is it the decision of the Central Working that the acting chairman shall, along with the executive committee of the forum, ensure the effective representation of the interest of members of the forum in all manners, and to, in particular, one, call Congress to enable members of the forum meet and discuss issues affecting NASSLAF. Two, immediately commence the amendment of the constitution of the forum to make the body more representative and broad-based. Three, ensure the timely meeting of the Central Working Committee. Is it also the decision of the Central Working Committee of NASSLAF to adopt this prayer? Those in support say aye.
Aye.
Against say nay. The ayes have it. Lastly, is it the decision of Central Working Committee of NASSLAF to direct for immediate reopening of NASSLAF Secretariat and handed over the keys to the Secretary or Assistant Secretary? Those in support of this say aye.
Aye.
Against say nay. The ayes have it. So I think we are done with this petition of the team. Mr. Secretary, is there anything left from our agenda?